My name is Jake, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want to share with you how we invested our money so that we could retire early. So back in 2023, I retired from my corporate day job at the age of 37. And then in 2025, my wife joined me in early retirement at the age of 39. We both don't come from money and we both had to work for everything that we have. After many years of intentional saving and investing, we reached our goal of early retirement. The goal was to replace our day job with passive income from our investments. So to understand how we invested our money, it's important to understand our mindset and our view on how we lived our day-to-day lives. And that first started with having a solid foundation, a strong foundation around our finances. So what do I mean by this? Well, what I mean by this is not spending more money than you make, not going into consumer debt, not buying that brand new car, going and buying that new, going on vacation with your credit card and not having the money in your bank to pay for it. And another thing is looking for new ways to make more money. Those are the three foundational things that I always talk about on my channel that really helped us to achieve financial independence. Because without this foundation, I don't know where we would be today. And all three of these are so important. Don't spend more than you make. Don't go and buy a brand new car. Don't go and buy toys and buy a boat with money that you don't have so that you can go into consumer debt. Try to make a little bit more money at your day job, right? Let's say you're just starting out after college or you've been in your career for a couple of years. Maybe there's some things that you can do to level up your skills so that you can demand a higher salary in the future. So these are the three things that we really focused on having a strong foundation so that we could retire early. Now, I think most people will hear this and just nod their head and say, yeah, this makes sense, but don't really understand or grasp the reality of how important this really is. It doesn't matter if you're making $10 an hour or $100 an hour. People who make a lot of money can just as easily spend themselves poor. Growing up as a kid, I would often hear about wealthy doctors going bankrupt or sports athletes who made millions of dollars a year go bankrupt. And I just kept on asking myself, how is that even possible? Living on minimum wage and living a very, simple lifestyle, thinking about all this money that those people had, how could they waste it? Or how could it have not been enough for them? Or when I look back even further, when I hear about the story of Mozart, we all learned about Mozart in school. Mozart was one of the highest paid musicians of his time, but somehow found himself ridden in debt that actually ended up ruining him. These people, whether they be high earners, athletes, doctors, or musicians, these people made a lot of money, but they didn't have a strong foundation. There are many ways that you could invest your money today. You could put it in the bank, you could put it in a savings account, you could bury it in your backyard, you could buy old cars, you could buy collectibles, you could buy, baseball, basketball cards, you name it. The reality is, for most people, they don't really know how to invest or what investing approach will help them to reach their goals. And I would say that that's probably pretty normal, and it's okay if you're in that situation today. But I will say that there probably are a few people out there who know exactly how to invest and what they want to invest in. And in fact, they know exactly what they want in life. And well, those people, I guess they could look a little like this. My gosh. Oh man, he knew exactly what he wanted. All right, cool. So let's take a look at this. How did we invest for early retirement? So we have this strong foundation. We know about not spending more than we make, staying out of consumer debt and looking for new, ways to make more money. So how do we actually invest? So starting with our retirement accounts. Here in the US, you can invest into a taxable account, a tax advantage account. So when just looking at our retirement accounts, we invested into an HSA. This is a health savings account. We also invested into a Roth IRA and a traditional 401k. So how do we use all of these different accounts for our benefit to reach, early retirement? So we focused on front loading all of these accounts and investing into them for growth. Once we had enough where they would passively grow enough over time, we stopped funding these retirement accounts with the intention of having them coast in the background. So our goal was to have our retirement accounts be, kind of centered around coast-fi before we actually achieved financial independence and retire early. So that's our goal, but how do we actually invest into each of these accounts? So with our HSA, we just invested into the total US stock market. Very simple. We invest into the ETF VTI. In our Roth IRA, we invested into VGT, VTI, VXUS, and VNQ. These are all low-fee, broad-based index funds, very, very simple from Vanguard, and that's how we invested into our Roth. In our traditional 401k, we invested just simply into the S&P 500. There was a few times where I would work at a company that didn't offer a plan that, had the option with the S&P 500. It was just crazy that these funds, these programs didn't offer the S&P 500. Just out, like thinking back on it, it's just like, how is that even possible? But that's the reality. And so the majority of the time, we were able to invest into the S&P 500. And when we weren't able to, we would just go with something as simple and similar as we could to the S&P 500. So low fee, stuff like that. Now, we chose a traditional 401k because we knew that we wanted to retire early. And so we planned on making a little bit more money in our working years versus when we actually retired. So we wanted those tax savings up front. Now, once we reached financial independence and retire early, we actually ended up converting all of our 401k into a Roth IRA. Now, we did this lump sum. We just did it all in 1 year. It would have been smarter, I guess, to do it, over a couple of years to spread out the tax burden. But I just wanted to get it over with and just do it. So we converted it into our Roth IRA in a year where we made less money, so we were in a lower tax bracket. But this was a big strategy of ours is we invested into our traditional 401k, and then once we reached FIRE, we're in a lower tax bracket, we converted it into our Roth IRA. So that was our retirement accounts. We next invested into real estate. So we bought our first house and we lived in it for 2 years, and then we moved out of it and rented it for about 2 years or so, and then we sold it for a gain. Now, because we lived in the home for 2 of the last 5 years, we paid 0 capital gains tax here in the US. So this is a huge advantage that we have in the United States. Other countries, I believe Germany as an example, require you to live in the home for at least 10 years before giving any such, before you get any such tax benefit like that. So in the US, it's only 2 years, where in other countries, it's like 10 years or more. So this is a huge advantage that we have in the United States, assuming that you lived at least 2 of the last 5 years as your primary residency. There's so much potential with this. Now, real estate doesn't always go up, so buying at the right price always plays a huge role. And real estate is cyclical, right? It works in cycles. Over the last couple of years, it's been very difficult to make money in real estate. It's not impossible, but it doesn't go up every year and it doesn't 10x in a single year. Real estate is more of a long-term investment approach, but there are things that you can do to kind of speed up that process if you were to make improvements, stuff like that to help the appreciation as an example. So in addition to buying our own primary residency, as a real estate investment, with the intention of, renting it out and then selling it within a 5-year time period, we also bought a rental property that we made small improvements on, and then we sold it for a gain a few years later. So we didn't get any tax benefits with that one other than, depreciation, all that kind of stuff. So like with any investment, real estate comes with its own challenges and risks and opportunities. There are many factors outside of your control that can impact the performance of your investment. But I still believe that one of the best ways a normal person in the US can build wealth and make money is to buy a home, maybe look to fix it up a little bit, and live in it for at least 2 years or longer, however long it takes for the market to do its thing, and then either rent it out or sell it, and within two of the last 5 years, right, that you lived in it, and pay zero capital gains. This, I really believe that this is one of the best ways that you can DIY your way to wealth over the long term. Now, if you're looking to flip this in a few months, a few years, it can backfire dramatically, as we've seen these last couple of years. But over the long term, I think your average person is going to be able to build wealth this way versus, speculating in other areas. So this is my personal opinion. I experienced it myself. Maybe there's some biasy there because I did it myself. But I do believe for your normal person here in the United States, it's one of the greatest wealth building tools that you can use here in the US. So while pursuing financial independence, we invested a lot of time, energy, and resources into real estate. And then once we sold the properties, the money that we made from real estate, we funneled that money into our dividend portfolio in our taxable account. Now let's talk about the next way of how we invest it, and that is with a taxable brokerage. Now you might be thinking to yourself, this goes against conventional wisdom. Why don't you invest only in a Roth, only in a 401k? Well, we did that, but we wanted to retire early, before the age of 59 and a half. And so we invested in a taxable brokerage account. And so as I've shared in previous videos, my dividend portfolio in our taxable account has changed over the years. As of today, we only invest into dividend-focused ETFs like SEHD, DGRO, and a few covered call ETFs like JEPQ and JEPI. The goal with the taxable brokerage is to build up a large enough portfolio where we could replace our day job with our investment income. So before, we were working our 9 to 5, we were going to work 5 days a week, many times on the weekend, thinking about it, stressing over it, and we would spend, it would take up the bulk of our time and energy, our day job. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to replace that with something else that we wanted to do. Essentially, we wanted to buy back our time by investing into the market so that we could live off of our investments instead of trading our time for money. So the income that we generate from our dividend portfolio covers all of our expenses. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took many years and years and sacrifices to get to that point. But there came a day, and for me it was in 2023, my wife in 2025, where our portfolios fully covered all of our expenses. In addition to our dividend income that we generate from our portfolio, we also generate income from our options income, from writing cash secured puts. Now, cash secured puts are a way we can squeeze, more income out of our portfolio. The income from selling cash secured puts can be unpredictable at times, but allows us to generate a significantly higher amount of income from our portfolio. Now, there are, of course, some drawbacks to this. There are risks that come with selling cash secured puts in our case. And I talk about this, on my channel. And we see the options as more of a means to an end for us to generate more income today. Our goal is to not sell cash secured puts forever. And once we reach a point where our expenses go down and our dividend income goes up, we'll be able to dial back how much we do with, selling our options for income. So my goal short term is to leverage the options to generate, more income. And once again, I'm selling the options. I'm not buying them. There's a very big difference. So when you hear the word options, you have to understand that there's two sides of the coin. And what I'm focused on is selling puts to generate income. I'm not buying the put and speculating in that way. I'm doing it in that sense. So there's a strong, big distinction between buying and selling when it comes to options and the focus there. So we're doing this now short term, and long term, our goal is to not really have to do or sell cash secured puts the way that we're doing it today. And you might think to yourself, well, why do I need to, sell cash secured puts if I'm getting, all this income from our dividend portfolio? Well, the simple answer is we're able to almost double our income by selling cash secured puts. And so we don't have enough dividend income where it greatly, covers all of our expenses and all of our discretionary spending. So this is more for the discretionary side. It gives us a little bit more money so that we can invest for our son. I'll give you a simple example. We want to put our son in a Montessori school, and that costs money. And so with our dividend income, we wouldn't be able to cover that. And so our expenses are up a little bit more. And so we're able to do a few extra things by having more disposable income. And that's the reason why we sell cash secured puts, to generate more income. This is how we invested. There's many different paths that can lead to success. This is our path. So what can you take away from learning about our path? Investing for early retirement, it really isn't rocket science. It starts by having a strong foundation, not spending more than you make, staying out of consumer debt, and looking for new ways to make more money. Once you have a strong foundation, it really comes down to understanding why. Why are you investing? Something that helps with this is understanding your investment time horizon. When do you actually plan on living off of your investments in retirement? The simpler that you can make things, the likelihood is that you're going to have better results. You don't need 30 or 40 individual stocks to reach your goals of living off of your dividend portfolio. Having a small handful of dividend ETFs that support your investing goals will do the trick. Another thing is have a goal of how you want to invest in your taxable account and how you invest in your tax advantaged accounts. They don't have to be the same. There's no right or wrong, and it really just depends on your goals and investment time horizon. I would say though, look out for those fees. If you're investing into active mutual funds, just understand that fees can eat away at your total returns. Understand that you don't have to have the same growth and value investment strategy for both your taxable and your tax advantaged accounts. And also kind of think about this outside of the box. You're told one thing that, just invest a certain way if you want to retire at the age of 65. If you're different and want to retire early, you kind of have to think about this in a different way. And then lastly here, we invested into real estate and it worked great for us. I would just say that don't feel like you have to invest into real estate if it's not something that you're passionate about doing or you really want to do. There are many paths that can lead to success. It really just comes down to finding your path and making it work for you. And with that, I hope that the video was helpful. I hope that you learned something new, and I'll see everybody in next week's video. Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
You know what? I think we're gonna be friends. Can everyone say hi to my friend? That's crazy. I just wanted to say thanks. I'm glad you came along, partner.